With the permission of respected Vice Chancellor, sir, may I commence with today's session?
Yes, please start it.
Respected keynote speaker of the event, Mr. Rakesh Chandra, former Special Secretary Home, Government of UP, respected Vice Chancellor, sir, Law College, Dehradun, Uttaranchal University, Professor Dr. Rajesh Boguna, sir, respected Principal HOD, Law College, Dehradun, Professor Dr. Poonam Rawat, ma'am, participants from all across the countries, ladies and gentlemen, a very pleasant afternoon to all. I, on behalf of Law College Dehradun faculty of Uttaranchal University, welcome you to this edifying national webinar on the topic Challenges Before Police Administration During COVID-19, an Overview and Solution. Taking the event further, I request respected Vice Chancellor Sir to kindly welcome and introduce the keynote speaker.
Thank you so much. On the occasion of this national seminar on topic Challenges Before Police Administration During COVID-19 and Overview, today's keynote speaker, Mr. Rakesh Chandra, Principal of Law College Dehradun, Professor Poonam Rawat, faculty in charge of this event, Dr. Vijay Srivastava, President, Secretary, all the office bearer of Training and Recruitment Division of Law College Dehradun, Uttaranchal University, voluntarily who has undertaken this activity and working before me, Ms. Akanksha Bhatt, and the host of the today. Dear participants from the university, I extend my good wishes and greeting to all of you. I am also taking this privilege to welcome you on the behalf of Law College Dehradun, faculty of Uttaranchal University, Training and Recruitment Division of the college, and the entire Uttaranchal University family. Ladies and gentlemen, Training and Recruitment Division of the college has organized series of webinars of national as well as international, and I am pleased to announce that around 1,000 students have participated in the last event of international repute. And similarly, one topic which have been taken by the TRDR of contemporary issues. And today's topic, I say no other topic can be most contemporary than this. To justify this topic, we are fortunate to have with us Mr. Rakesh Chandra. He is a former
information.
he is pursuing his university also from Lucknow University. He completed his special training of 5th phase of Provincial Civil Services, Center for International Development, Duke University of United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, to our satisfaction, Mr. Rakesh, author of more than 40 national and international research papers. Distinguished area of research has been right to privacy, then environmental law, globalization, and social justice. He is also author of, rather I should say, he is also a poet, and his poems, Moon is Black and Mere Shahar Mein, is well known. With his experience and practical experience in legal side as well as in social side, I am once again taking this privilege to welcome you, sir, on the behalf of Uttaranchal University. You are most welcome here. Ladies and gentlemen, today's topic, that is challenges before police administration during this period of COVID-19. No doubt in that, when we see around, every one of us want to do something for the cause of society, something for the cause of nation, and something for the cause of this particular pandemic. There are very few who are the God had a chance to become the soldier to fight this pandemic, and they are the police personnel and medical personnel, doctors, nurses, paramedical staff. But we see today the role of police officers, police personnel, is not as done a soldier who are fighting at the border of the country to save the sovereignty of the country. So at this juncture, it becomes very necessary to discuss Am I audible, Akansha?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible? So it is desirable that the role of these real soldiers today, the police personnel, should not only be deliberated and discussed, but should be brought to particularly for you, that what are the challenges before this administration during this. So today's speaker, with his experience, what I can say that we will justify the topic, and I'm not taking much of the time. So once again, I welcome you, sir, to Uttaranchal University on the behalf of entire family. You are most welcome. And now over to today's boss, Ms. Akansha Bhatt.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now I request Mr. Rakesh Chandra, sir, to kindly begin with the lecture, sir.
Thank you, Akanksha.
Thank you.
This is my privilege to get once again connected with the Uttarakhand, the place where I started my career as professional deputy collector. In 1982, I joined Administrative Training Institute, ATI, at Nainital, and from there, I completed my foundational and professional courses for a 6 month period. And thereafter, I was posted at Almora. And my first 3 years, I joined Almora as professional deputy collector. And there I got the first inkling of law and order situation, because at that time, this Uttarakhand movement was on the anvil. And Almora, besides Nainital, was the epicenter of this Uttarakhand movement. So I got the first idea of law and order in Almora. Once, besides that, I fondly remember Almora because I found there the old system of policing that was prevalent before during the British period. There was in 1983, there was only one circle inspector who was heading the whole Almora town. There was no police superintendent of police, no deputy SP, only circle inspector who was a senior inspector of police. He was policing the whole system. Soon after that, after say 7 to 8 months, a deputy SP in charge was posted as head of the police administration in Almora. In 1984, Almora got a first full-fledged IPS officer as superintendent of police. So it was a new experience because I belong to Lucknow. From Lucknow to Almora, and there I found that only one circle inspector was managing the whole police force. That was a very new experience. And in the village areas, the revenue police was heading the criminal justice system. Kanungo, Patwari, they were holding the police portfolios also. So that was a new experience. But that from there I start. And just going back to the olden days, from where the police system started, we found that in olden days, in ancient period, there was some kind of police system, although the dispensation of justice was kept in the hands of the king or his satraps, in present parlance we can say governors, and at village level there were mukhias who dispensed with the justice system. But during the Muslim period, the nomenclature was changed. Some kind or other police force was there. Same, the system of police dispensation of justice was in the hands of the kings or emperors. You must be remembering the famous Jahangiri gong of Emperor Jahangir, where anybody could ring the gong and Emperor Jahangir came to the rescue of that person. However, things changed, entirely changed during the onset of the British rule, which exactly that was the year 1858. After the revolution or rebellion, or you say the first war of Indian independence of 1857, the British, the regime of East India Company was taken over by the British rule, and or one can say that the British Crown assumed the sovereignty of India. And in 1858, the British Parliament passed the first of the series of the Government of India Acts, through which the Indian territory was ruled by that was the beginning to be ruled by the British government. In 1858, since the whole Indian territory came under the British rule, and 2 years after that, in 1860, the Britishers imposed their own judicial as well as administrative system to rule the India as a whole. 1860, Indian Penal Code came into being, and just 1 year after, in 1861, the Indian Police Act 1868 came into being. From there, the word police, as we hear today, came into being. Indian Police Act 1861 was the beginning of the modern police system in the whole Indian territory. This system continued for so many years, but two aspects were always there in the back of the mind of the Britishers. One was the revolt of Mangal Pandey, and the second one was the 1857 mutiny. Britishers were very apprehensive of such kind of rebellious trends among the Indians. So they introduced in the Indian Penal Code in 1898 the section 124A of sedition, because they wanted to crush any type of rebellious instinct of Indians. So they wanted a strong police. So Indian Police Act especially sought into effect that empowering the police too much, so that any type of discontent, any type of rebellious instinct among the Indians could be punished or nipped in the bud. That is why you see under the Indian Police Act, the most powerful person is station officer, SO. Even today, after 70 years of independence in India, SO is most powerful among the police persons. He holds all the powers, more than that, even more than that of Superintendent of Police. So, but the hidden purpose was that if SO is competent, SO is very powerful, then he will be able to suppress any kind of dissenting voice among the Indians. That system is still prevailing in the present circumstances also. This system continued, but there was a difference. There were three basic functions of the police. First of all, to investigate the crime, or you say the crime investigation was the first purpose. Second purpose was to maintain law and order. And the third purpose was to create an aura of the British Empire, to create fear psychosis among the Indians so that no dissenting voice could raise their heads. But ultimately, we found that this last area, that creating an aura and putting a pressure on creating a fear psychosis among the people, it gained momentum. And in the 21st century also, in Indian context also, this is the prevalent, you see, characteristic. It has become a prevalent characteristic, the most dominant characteristic of Indian police. Now, after there was one difference. In big law and order problems, like we see in the Jallianwala Bagh massacre of 1913 and Mopla rebellion of 1921 in the south, the Britishers crushed law and order with the force of army. General Michael O'Dwyer, in case of Jallianwala Bagh, and some other officer in the Mopla rebellion, they used army. Police was used only for the small law and order problems. Now came the independence. During after the independence, we were lucky to have with us the most dynamic Home Minister of India, who was also a Deputy Prime Minister, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. He can be ascribed to be the architect of modern police system, Indian police system, as well as the Indian administrative system. Today, what we have in the police system, that is a gift of Sardar Patel, who was a visionary and very powerful Home Minister. But unluckily, he died in 1950, and from there on, we have done nothing towards the reform of the police system. System which we had in, you see, which was given by the Britishers, we carried on, and system, you see, the prevailed. But during the emergency period, it was the high time that the real face of the police came before the public, and this face was very ugly. This proved to be a very brutish force, very insensitive towards their own citizens, and all kind of, you see, grievances came forth from the public, that the police force which was meant to serve us is really a perpetrator of crimes, perpetrator of violence, and an easy tool to muffle the voice of dissent among the people. So there was a much furor after the emergency that there should be, this term was first time used, there should be attitudinal change of the police system, which was a legacy of the British system. So the first and foremost purpose, which was in practical sense a tool for propagating the British Empire, for muffling the dissent, which served the British rulers, could not hold water in an independent country. Any force, any organization, any institution is bound to serve Indians with the spirit of a true public servant. So after the emergency was lifted and the government regime changed, then for the first time, the then government established a National Police Commission. And that was headed by an ICS officer of repute, which belonged to the Bijnor district of UP, Mr. Dharamveer, along with some senior police officers. this commission was found to find a way how to change the image of police and necessary steps to change the structure and as well as the attitudinal changes. For 3 years, from 1978 to 81, this commission worked and gave, detailed instructions, detailed recommendations. And on the basis of that recommendations, the then government formulated some instructions to be followed by the states. You know, the police is a state subject under the Indian Constitution. And this has been a continuous refrain of the civilized society that the police subject should be under concurrent list, because center always says that we can't do anything because police is a state subject. So that happened with the this Dhanavir Commission report. Even after 3 decades, from 1981 to this is 2020, not much headway could be made due to avoidance by the states to evade the instructions given by the government. All the states, almost all the states, irrespective of any parties, they showed least interest in changing the face of the police or making reforms, proper reforms in need with the times to the police organization. So situation remained unchanged, although there some cosmetic changes were made here and there, and that too not in all states, but in few states. The situation remained same, but the brutish face, the force which was a perpetrator of crimes, all type of crimes, which had the power to, muffle down any voice of dissent, which was, which was meant to, cow down any civilian. That image gained momentum, that perception carried till further times. Situation worsened from that, the British period also, and ultimately a senior police officer who was the Director General of Police of the old Uttar Pradesh, including the Uttaranchal also, Mr. Rakesh Chandra. He was also a Director General of BSF. He filed a PIL in Supreme Court in 2006, in which a new phenomena had occurred, that was a politicization of police. So there were so many issues involved, were juxtaposed in one issue: corruption, politicization, this one-upmanship, this muffling of dissent among the people, and to cow down the ordinary innocent people, and several other issues. Prakash Singh took all these issues in the Supreme Court, and on that PIL, Supreme Court issues a set of directions. And interestingly, the Supreme Court took it on its own to review and monitor the progress made by the states. Initially, it was just after 3 months, Supreme Court called all the chief secretaries and DGPs to monitor the situation, to see what headway has been made on the basis of recommendations of the Supreme Court. And there is no point of surprise, for me at least, that after 13 years, the situation is still unchanged. Last month in an interview, Mr. Prakash Singh said, there is no change visible. That means the situation prevailing in 2006 is still before us. Police, the image of police is gradually and continually is getting beating down in the eyes of the police. Police has become a symbol of perpetration of all sort of, criminal attempts, especially aimed at the common people who are almost innocent. But other trend also was very disturbing. A link between the politicians, the police, and the bureaucracy. This nexus was developed in the 90s and onwards. Former Home Secretary Mr. N.N. Vohra, he put up a very detailed report, and first time he coined this word. This nexus has developed, a strong nexus has developed between the three wings. So it was almost impossible to change the image of police, because all the three, you see, ingredients of the system, our system, got involved for the suppression of common man. The situation became more and more grim even in the 21st century. The issue was raised after the emergency that we need attitudinal change among the police mindset. What we got during this 30 years or 40 years, that police became more brutish, more, you see, a symbol of, you see, a symbol of atrocities, and police was abused like anything. So on that scene, one thing is very clear, that police reform was not on the agenda of any political party during elections. First thing. Second thing, irrespective of party lines, no government showed a least interest in reforming the police. The only thing was that all efforts were made by the political parties to make police subservient to their interests. As long as police is under their pocket, they feel elated, they feel, you see, powerful. They don't want any type of changes in the mindset of the police. This was the Indian scenario. But at the same time, this is, if you take the world view, in Britain, in United Kingdom, there was also such an outcry. But the Britishers passed a law which was known as the Police Reform and Responsibilities Act 2011 to make the police responsible and, mind this word, responsive to local communities. That is the crux of the issue, responsive to local communities. They passed an act and their situation has improved a lot. Recently, you must be knowing George Floyd's murder, a black person in Minneapolis in USA. There, after the furor that is still continuing all over America and even Europe also, the Democrats have put up a bill, Justice in Policing bill, in the Congress, and that is there for curtailing the powers of the police, as well as they are curtailing the instinct of racism prevailing among the policemen. So this is you can say this is one of the two biggest democracies in the world. One is the oldest democracy in USA and mother of the parliament in Britain. There were also such atrocities, there were perpetration of criminal activities by the police, but they are trying to, in Britain, they try to control it by passing an act, and in USA, there is effort on to change the face of the police. But unfortunately in India, this is not so. However, one interesting fact is that we shifted the move not to change the attitude of the police, but we insisted on modernization of police. During the 90s and this last decade, 2000 to 2010, during all these 20 or 25 years, especially in 20 years, the shift has been focused on modernizing the police. Now you see better vehicles for the police, computerization of the police, change in the dress, and it has become more smarter, and several other things. New weapons have been purchased. So all kind of modernization is being done, but that too not by all states, because once again, states have no resources, no proper resources to change the image of the police by purchasing these electronic gadgets, these new weapons, and moreover, The psychological angle was also taken up. It was said that there were no proper houses for the accommodation for the police personnel, so their mind is always occupied with their family affairs. So houses were made at the bulk level, at the Thana level and the police lines level. Now there are no such, paucity of houses, and the work is still continuing. So service conditions are better, promotion avenues are better now. Everybody is getting promotions, scale their hike in their pays, and all kind of facilities are being given. Motorcycles are given to the sub inspectors level and inspector level. Vehicles have been renewed. Even then, the basic idea was that if the police is equipped with the latest technology, the latest know-how, and all kind of facilities, they will live with their families. So any kind of, psychological faux pas will not be there. But all these things could not deter the policemen to show their power, their, energy in suppressing the dissent or in perpetrating a criminal activity on the civilians. You must be surprised that according to Status of Policing in India report 2019, there are still among 20 states, there are still 70 thanas where there is no wireless system. 214 thanas had no access to telephones, and 240 thanas have no vehicles at all in the present scenario in the year 2019. So states are either showing no, interest in getting these facilities properly given to the thanas, or they are short of financial resources. So situation, the gravity of the situation is very well expressed in an article written last year by Mr. Shankar Sen, former director of the National Police Academy, Hyderabad. I quote his words: "The police functions as the police of the ruling party and not the people's police. Upright officers with spine are asked to cool their heels in inconsequential postings. Politicization has snapped the chain of command and control, corroded discipline, and made the police leaders beholden to the politicians of the ruling party." These are the words of Mr. Shankar Sen, written in an article last year, and he has been a former director of the National Police Academy at Hyderabad. So this symbolizes this gives a clear picture of the police working during the present times. However, despite all that, the COVID-19, the onslaught, this pandemic of COVID-19 came to Indian people as a breather, as a cool wind, and it has wholly changed the persona of police on a pan-Indian scenario. The police, which was condemned, which was, abused by the average person, now showed such hues and character of which was entirely changed and which was never thought of about the police working or the police person. They came as angels. There are so many stories of the policemen. You name a thing and police was there. They face all sorts of abuse when maintaining this lockdown. People abuse them. People, even at Patiala, one ASI, Mr. Harjeet Singh's hand was chopped by the Nihangs with a sword. But even then, police did not react. Police did react with so much cool and calm. And this was the whole scenario in the whole country. They showed extraordinary patience in dealing with the intransigence population and maintained this lockdown to the best of their ability. They did, they performed their duty even after the duty time, although there is a no duty time for the police personnel, but this time they spent their time on the roads or on the containment zones, on the red zones, and without any complaint, they performed a wonderful job. Not only that, they provided food, they provided medicines, they provided even wheelchair to the ailing persons. You will be happy to know that in police there is 112, number 112, this women's power line number. This has become now a common number for all sorts. They provided medicine to more than 15,000 persons, ailing persons. One organization, one small unit provided medicines, necessary medicines to 15,000 people in Lucknow and other nearby districts. This is not a story of the Lucknow police also, but in all over India, they provided medicines and all other food items or other necessary items in the red zones, in the containment zones, without caring about their health. Now you must be knowing that hundreds of policemen have died due to corona. They contracted corona, and because they were always on the field, and you see now time has become that no symptoms are visible, but risking their lives, they performed their duties. Not only that, they came like as angels to celebrate 75th anniversary, marriage anniversary, 50th marriage anniversary, children's birthdays, by offering them bouquets, sweetmeats, chocolates to so many persons, in so many places. Even that was the height. You know, during the COVID, the person affected by the coronavirus, even their families left the dead. They didn't come up to, perform the last rites in so many places. This was the shoulder of the policeman who provided the, shield to the buyer of the dead body, dead person, and they even performed the last rites in the, the shamshans or such places. They brought the dead body on their shoulders and they even performed their last rites. That was unthinkable. They really, if any word can be said about them, they proved to be angels. They were angels among them. Although we say they were corona warriors, but even beyond that, they proved to be angels. This was angelic face of the police was a very freshening, breeze, cool breeze for the Indians who are familiar with the only one face of the police that was brutal, that was insensitive. So that was a very good, change in the persona of the police which we witnessed during the COVID operations. And the process is still on, though lockdown has been lifted and we are in the process of unlock. But even the police is doing their duty without asking for any favors. We also recognized their tremendous efforts. We showered on them the flower petals. Even the Indian Air Force planes also we showered flower petals on them, recognizing Government of India recognized. We also are also recognizing their good job. Now, the problem is that now it is a problem also, or a valuable opportunity for us to how to continue this, this activity of the police which they shown during the corona period. Now, you may ask, what are the options? There are three options, because one thing is clear, that our political masters have failed to deliver things as regard to changing the face of the police. From insensitive face to sensitive face, we need very strong willpower, which could not show. Now, there are only three options. One option is that we showed in Minneapolis in USA, where when the furor was raised, the Minneapolis City Council pledged to disband the police force. That is the one option. Either you disband the whole police force, what you say in Hindi, na rahega baas, na bajegi bansuri. Second option is that you continuously try to reform the police, the role of the police, by raising your voice. You know, our constitution starts from the very pious words, we the people. And democracy is all about we the people. If we raise our voice continuously and we make them an election agenda that you have to reform the police, then ultimately our political masters will have to hear us. And the third one is that, this is my personal thinking, being associated with the police for more than 30 years. I started as SDM, and we worked as hand in glove with the police, and I personally ended my career by serving the Home Department for 5 years during two respective governments, and Home Department is a parent department of the police. So by the sheer experience of all these years, this is my thinking, that we should also respond in the same manner as the police responded to us during the COVID operations. Just imagine, police works day and night during the emergencies, during the curfew, during the law and order situation. Nobody comes to the road, we only witness the police during the day, during the night, during the winter, during the rains. But how many has come by opening the doors and come up with a cup of tea or a Bisleri bottle for a policeman who is standing on the duty throughout the day? Hardly any person. We don't think that they belong to us. They come from our community. They belong to us. They also are human beings. They need a proper and equal response from the civil society also. So if we give them, and by taking this opportunity of the COVID operations, if we decide that every time, depending on the government, will not serve any purpose. So let us start from us. Let us treat them as our brethren. Let us treat them as human beings. Let us treat them that they also need all those facilities which we need as a citizens also. So I think this may work. This ploy may work, because if we give them respect, if we give them proper response, if we treat them as human beings, because they are not aliens. They are coming from our neighborhood. In our family also, there may be a policeman. So when they are alike, they are like us, they are deserving of our respect and proper, placing them in proper perspective. So this may be taken as an experiment. And I think when the mutual respect for each other, for the police, between the police and the private persons, the civil society, that will begin to, that will start. A process will kick start, and then there will be no ending. And we will then, in case, we will have no need of political, leadership's initiative. They will be bound to do some changes in the police system. So this is my personal view, that we can start from this. And during the COVID operations, at so many places, the public responded in that manner. And there has been a very cordial relationship between the police and the civilians. So that can be tried. But this is the high time, because we are undergoing a transition from lockdown to unlock. So let us use this opportunity by not by coming out of our old mindset that police is so and so, police is such and such. One more thing, I have seen so many times that during you see a criminal activity in the streets, on the roads, or law and order problem, when police comes to seek, you see, knowledge about the scene or the crime or the situation, hardly any person from the public comes forward and share whatever knowledge he has about the incident. Nobody shares. This shows our weakness as a civilian, as a human being. Police is not not gifted with computers, or police is not in the category of, you see, Dr. Watson of Sherlock Holmes series. They are also human beings. They try to, you see, achieve correct information from the public, and many times, almost 99 times, they are discarded by the person in the name. That there will be problem for them in the courts. They will be called to the courts, or the bullied or the bully or the criminals will take revenge on them. This shows our weakness. This is the we need to move from strength to strength, and our strength will strengthen the police system also, and we will certainly achieve a better police administration system. So if we start on doing or taking actions on these lines, I think we will get rid of this old police, you see, police thinking, or the principle on which the police is working, the legacy, British legacy, that police is there to strengthen the ruling class. Police is there to, you see, perpetrate any type of activity, criminal activity against the civilians. So police, we want a Mitra police, a friendly police with a people-friendly approach. In this sense, I would like to share one incident. When I was, you see, there in Duke University in USA, one of my professor was an IS officer. He was commissioner of Lucknow. Then he joined Howard, and from there he came to Duke. He was teaching there. He shared a personal experience of his, just to show how police is functioning in USA. And that is true about the whole Europe. He said once he was driving a car with his family. There was a small child and his wife. Somewhere on the road, they barely jumped a zebra line. And the police immediately turned up. The car was, you see, parked near the road, near the end of the road, or some juncture. They called them and said, "Did you jump that zebra line?" A professor said, "Yes, I did." So they were quite happy, and there was a nearby motel. They brought the family to the motel. They purchased the milk for the child, and they offered coffee to the couple. And after paying the, you see, penalties, they allowed them to drive back to their destination, and all with respect. He was telling, my professor was telling, that in USA, even the president of USA cannot dare to challenge police. If simple policeman, an ordinary policeman says, "Mr. President, come and follow me, you have done such crime, then president is bound to follow the policeman. That respect which USA police commands, leave alone this racial incident, but in other way, police commands such a respect that police there is known as the Mitra police, a friendly police. On hearing this incident, I was reminded of the Almora days when I was told that in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, there was no handcuffing of the criminals. Only Patwari said, Mr. So and so, come and follow me. And the criminal used to follow him with putting their heads down. There was so much respect for the police, although there was no, it was a revenue police also, but they commanded full respect. It was because the police acted in a friendly manner. They came to rescue of the ailing or the person of society who were in trouble. They provided help to civilians. Only then they commanded such respect. So when Europe and America and Britain police can do this, why can't we do it in our country? So, but only looking at the political, you see, parties or the political or the governments, I don't think that is a solution. We have to be proactive in the sense we are a very, you see, aware and active citizenry in India. So we must come forward and we can achieve what the USA and the European countries have achieved during the past 60, 70 or 100 years. Thank you so much. Good day.
Thank you so much, sir, for this enlightening session. Now I kindly request Pallavi ma'am to take over for the question answer session.
Okay, so we received a lot of questions from our participants. The sir was delivering the lecture. So here we go with first one. Okay, so sir, it's a question from Momita Mitra. Can we expect to witness any amendment in the statutes due to pandemic situation?
No, I think there will be no piecemeal legislation on that part. It will be a comprehensive legislation on the recommendations given by the National Police Commission, the Dharmveer Commission, and instructions given by the Supreme Court in the PIL of Mr. Prakash Singh. So we don't have to hurry to bring you see, legislation on the lines of COVID. Whenever we will do, we will take the issue. We'll take up the issue comprehensively, because the basic question is to change the mindset of the police, not attempting at piecemeal or the cosmetic solutions. And in the present scenario, I don't expect that any such legislation will come up.
So the next question is how IPS and police services are related, and is state police independent of taking decisions during crisis?
No, there are powers. Police can take decisions independently. There is no denying the fact. When in crisis, when in law and order situation, but the extraneous pressures from the politicians, from the senior officers, and from other bigwigs, that is a real problem. In the olden days, this was not a practice. Police was independently, you see, taking the decisions. But nowadays, this you see, this is ailing the police personnel. That is why they are not able to take correct decisions on the field.
Shraddha Jan asked that how has the situation of police changed during the pandemic of COVID-19?
Yes, pardon? Please repeat the question.
Shraddha Jain asks that how has the situation of police changed during the pandemic of COVID-19?
Of the police situation.
Yes, sir.
Huh. I especially told you that during the COVID operations, the image of the police got a complete makeover. That was, one cannot, think of such things, such an image, having in our minds that old image. It has completely changed. Now we are witnessing a Mitra police, a friendly police.
Okay, so Vaneet Kaur Narang asks that what are the victims' right to protection from the police?
Actually, this scheme has not, gained much momentum in India because victims' security or victims, hiding of victims' identity. This has been a, well-established practice in USA and other England and other European countries. But in India, this is a very embryonic stage, idea in embryonic stage. It is not practiced in great details. But victims had certainly got rights to move courts, to move superior officers. There are now separate, helplines in every state that you can lodge your protest, your complaint before the chief minister, the DGP, and all these things.
Raman Sharma asks that what is your outlook on politicization of police force and its use to take undue advantages by those in power?
Exactly. This is my personal experience, I can say. I have seen so many officers, so many policemen. They were just depressed. They were so unhappy that outside pressures, the extraneous pressures by the political class, by the superiors also, not only political class, by their superiors also, and from some other, sometimes even by the criminals, the hardened criminals, all kind of pressures were, put on the policemen. And this is a common feature. This is not a new thing. And sometimes, rather, I should say more than often, any policeman, he is not a superman. It is very difficult for him to come to terms with such pressures. He has got to feed his family. He comes from the ordinary background. How can he fight with such powers? Even in superior officers also, their transfers take place so many times from here to there, from there to here. So this is all due to this extraneous pressures.
Another participant asks that how will COVID-19 affect future law enforcement and how will new patterns of crime be managed, especially given that the virus is here to stay for a long time?
You must have read rather in newspapers that during COVID, this lockdown period, the rate of crime decreased substantially in all the states, right from murder to rape and all these things. This substantially decreased. So if this COVID-19 continues, there will certainly be a decrease because people are not coming outside, they are living in their houses. So crime is very, very less. It will certainly be on decreasing trend. But this is a short-term measure. After that, when this unlock period is over, then nobody can guarantee that this decrease will not increase. Decreasing trend will not increase.
Okay. Satish Rayan asks that why the responsibilities of the state and central police forces are different.
This is very simple because police is a state subject. There are three lists in the constitution: state list, or this central list or concurrent list. So police police comes under state list. That means all laws can be made regarding police by the state only. As far as center is concerned, center can make laws in the paramilitary forces that are also police, like BSF, CRPF, CISF. All these forces are central forces created by the center. So center is responsible for making changes in that laws. So center generally as a rule also, they don't make intrusion into whatever right state has been accorded by the constitution. But now there is a
Okay,
demand.
so Mudit Bhatnagar, so Mudit Bhatnagar wants to ask that about the failure of police in serving the public, and in situations when they turn out to be corrupt, they are always biased towards those people who can't pay them good. Or so what are your point of view regarding this in case where the police administration is biased?
Actually, this is malaise. You know, everybody, whether doctor, he knows what is ailing you, what is ailing a person. But solution is also there. I'm very optimistic in this regard. There is nothing that can't be changed. So one aspect is, which I talked about in the last session of my lecture, was that this social distancing, I'm using this word in a wrong way. Social distancing between the police and the public must end now. The public should not see the policemen as a distant men from distant planets. As soon as they will come close to each other, these problems will be diluted to a great extent. So we need to adopt a proactive attitude toward the police, who are also our brethren, who also come from our society. Because no law can put a break on such things, you know, no law. Already there are so many laws,
yes,
but this is not, you see, decreasing. Recently, there were so many changes in the, you see, motor accidents, motor vehicle act. You know, so much increase in the punishments have been made in the new act, but still people are taking benefit of these things. Even somewhere police is also taking a bribe and letting you go. So you can't change it by making laws only. We, as police is needed to change attitude, we also need to change our attitude also.
So the last question for today is, how can we as civilians boost up the morale of frontline warriors in this pandemic situation?
Actually, this has already been done at several places. People in the society, civil society, they welcome, they encourage the policemen. They hurl, you see, flower petals on them. They give proper respect to them. There is no dearth of all these acts. People paid respect to the policemen from their heart only, and they are doing it because the simple reason, because they came to the civil society as a friendly person, a friend in uniform, you may say, not as a brute force, a symbol of brute force.
So with this, I hope that all the queries and relevant questions regarding the topic have been covered. And with this, I end the question and answer session for today. Thank you, sir.
Now I would like to call Akanksha ma'am for vote of thanks.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Rakesh sir. Thank you very much for being with us. And we had more than 300 participants with us. And I see so many messages on the chat box that everybody is appreciating, and they're saying that the informative session was very edifying to all of them, and they're also congratulating everybody from the organizing team. The one thing that I was very delighted to hear today was that we need to be very much optimistic towards everything that is happening in this destructive times of COVID-19 pandemic today. And the police officers and the whole administration is indeed, they are working as superheroes, and we should always try to respect them. And we should obviously, as sir has already told us, that we should be having an optimistic view towards them, because they are also facing the same things that we're facing these days. So thank you very much. And as a token of respect to Mr. Rakesh Chandra sir, it will be my honor and privilege to extend towards the vote of thanks for today. I extend my most sincere thanks to you, sir, Mr. Rakesh Chandra sir, the former Special Secretary Home, Government of UP, for this enlightening session today and being with us, taking his time out of the busy schedule and being with us today. I also extend a very hearty thanks to the Vice Chancellor and Dean, Law College Dehradun, Uttaranchal University, for giving us the opportunity to organize today's webinar. I also thank the Principal, HOD Law, Professor Dr. Poonam Rawat ma'am, for her continuous support and guidance. I also extend my gratitude towards the faculty convener of this event, Dr. Vijay Srivastava, sir, for helping us in best ways. Thank you, sir. And I also thank all the active participants that I see here from all across the country for joining us, not only the students, but also academicians and all the professors that are here with us. Thank you, everybody. And last but not the least, I'd also like to thank the organizing committee of the Training and Recruitment Division of Law College Dehradun. Thank you everybody for making this event a successful one. And we will be sharing the feedback link that everybody is asking for very soon, and we'll be mailing it to the participants. Thank you for joining us.
I want to say one thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
From my heart, I really extend my thanks to Dr. Professor Rajesh Bhavguna sir, who is Vice Chancellor of this university, Madam Poonam Rawat, Professor and HOD of the Law Faculty, Dr. Vijay Srivastava, the convener of this same webinar, and both of you, Akanksha and Sachi, and your team, to invite me for this interactive session, and once again connecting me to the place where I started my career. And you know, the first posting at the first district, you never forget in your life. I have very fond memories of Almora. This was my first posting there as sub-regional magistrate, and I'm very happy to once again cherish those good memories. So my heartfelt regards to all of you, and Professor Bhavguna and Madam Rawat also. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your blessings, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I shall now end the meeting. Thank you, everybody.